It's so good to have you back. This little guy's about to welcome you back too. This giraffe bull was on a real mission. He was walking briskly and didn't stop. The hyena is reacting to the Franklin alarm call, which means there could be another predator around, and that's why he's kind of taking notice. It's quite incredible, but hyenas can make around 14 different sounds, and they can recognize each other's calls. The same as lions, they can also recognize each other's calls. It was quite a windy day, so the impala were a bit nervous because obviously the wind affects their sense of their sense of hearing, because they can't always hear the most subtle sounds, so they always look a bit nervous. But yeah, there were a lot of these females are pregnant now, about to lamb. An interesting point is the impala are seldom more than 5 kilometers away from water, so they're normally within a 5-kilometer radius of water. This is a African wattle or a weeping wattle. There's an insect on it that secretes a sort of a liquid because it sucks the sap. It's a spittle bug. It sucks the sap from the wattle, and that's why it weeps, hence the name weeping wattle. This is a steenbok. They're very often on their own, sometimes in pairs. It's quite incredible. Their gestation period is 7 months, and that I think is very long for a small animal when you consider that a hippo is 7 to 8 months. This was a herd of buffalo that had kind of split off from the main herd and seemed to be sort of going their own way, and this sometimes happens depending on the availability of food and water. Buffalo bulls weigh about 800 kilograms, which is about 1,760 pounds. So they're pretty heavy animals. And the one on the right staring at us is a young bull in very good condition. This is a red-billed hornbill that's eating termites. You can see that the area he's on there has been recently repaired by the termites because it's darker in color, that mud. It hasn't quite dried yet. But he's got in there again and he's busy feeding on termites. This is the apple leaf or rain tree. This is a wonderful pride of lions. It consists of 7 lionesses at the moment and 2 large male lions. and there is talk that the lionesses have got cubs. So we are obviously very keen to see them. They are apparently hiding the cubs in the river somewhere. There seem to be 5 cubs, but we're not sure how many males and how many females. But normally female cubs will continue to stay on with their moms in the pride, whereas males will, at a certain age, head out and establish their own territories so that they don't end up breeding with their mothers and sisters. If you look closely, you can actually see that some of these lionesses are in milk. You can actually see it if you look closely. They are gathering together slowly and will probably go off hunting now. A lovely small little group of elephants having a drink. You can see the tree in the foreground, the marula tree, has some wire around it. This is to try and prevent the elephants from ring barking the trees, because once a tree is ring barked, the food can't get from the roots to the top of the tree and the tree dies. This is kind of experimental, not too sure how well it'll work. In the past, people have put beehives around or in the trees to also see if that would deter the elephants from ring barking them. And there's been an element of success to this, but not necessarily so in some places. interaction between the two small herds of elephants there. This is a tree wisteria or van Wykshout. The baboons and monkeys love eating these flowers. This is a little Impala lamb drinking from its mom. All the Impala lambs are born within a 3-week period, and this sort of floods the market and so ensures the survival of some of them. The mom is obviously very alert. Dung beetles utilize the dung in various ways. Sometimes they just feed on the dung where it falls, and other times they roll a ball, bury it, mate, and lay eggs inside of the ball. Some species breed inside the dung without burying any of it, so there's actually no external signs of them, and that's why it's advisable to not drive over dung, because there could be dung beetles in the dung itself. Females of most species desert the buried dung after laying eggs in it. But there is a species of dung beetle where the female actually remains in the chamber until the next generation of adults emerges. For some reason, the brood will not emerge without her presence, which is just quite incredible. Mites are found on most dung beetle species, and most of these mites are predators of fly eggs, and so they just get lifts on the dung beetles from one lot of dung to another. And I know you're thinking it and asking yourself, but it is actually the males that roll the ball. The females are on top of the dung or walking behind it. So this particular species are trying to roll their ball and get it away, and then bury it and lay their eggs on it. But you can see it's not a simple process. There's constant fighting and having to flick other dung beetles off, and in the end I was just exhausted. I stopped filming it. These two dung beetles were having a far easier time than the ones we watched a little bit earlier. This is a magnificent elephant bull with incredible tusks. It's always an unbelievable thought for me that he carries those heavy tusks around day in and day out. Never really has a rest on that. Nature has so many lessons for us. One of them being for me is perseverance, tenacity. Nature never gives up. This tree's been knocked over, it looks dead, and yet there are leaves sprouting at the top there. What do you think this is? It's the nostrils of a hippo. Hippo can stay submerged for about 5 to 6 minutes, and then they've got to pop up for air. They can't breathe underwater. And the baby hippos can only hold their breath for about 40 seconds. But it was just incredible. This is all this hippo showed me. He was very shy. I wouldn't have even known there was a hippo in the dam. And then I noticed these two little nostrils that came up. And that's all I ever saw of him. This was a lovely scene at this little pan. There were the zebras and the giraffe. If you look at the zebra on the left, you can see a band of black between its hind legs. Quite a thick band of black. So that zebra is actually a female. The males have a far thinner band of black underneath their tail, between their hind legs. It's quite incredible, but a normal, healthy zebra carries about 4,000 ticks on its body. Although giraffes' necks are so long, they have just as many vertebrae in their neck as we do. So they don't have more, the vertebrae are just a lot larger. I'm not going to talk much now. I'm going to let you appreciate all the beautiful bird calls and the sounds of the bush. you'll notice that when a giraffe walks, the legs don't alternate. The ones on the one side move and then the legs on the other side move. We found the lionesses in the river, and so we were really hoping we'd get a glimpse of the little cubs. So we kept our binos trained on the river and the bushes close to the lionesses. And then we were rewarded. We were so excited. These little butterballs appeared. They are about 4 to 6 weeks old. And there's another little one that's appeared. They are so cute. They still look slightly unsteady on their feet. So exciting to see them, so special. This was the pride with the male and the lionesses and cubs. There was another male around, but he wasn't in this frame. A little bit of a grumpy mom. Thank you so much for joining me, and if you have any questions or comments, please pop them down in the comments, and if you like this, please like and subscribe. Happy bush experiences, and I will see you next time. Thanks a lot. Bye.